Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In the last session, we talked about how to use service generation technique to create OData services. In today's session, we will go ahead and discuss how to implement the update and delete method and test them quickly with the gateway client. Then I will also go ahead and show you how to use function imports in SAP UI5. Afterwards, we will create a very simple basic UI5 project with index HTML in one view and one controller to pull the data from our OData service. So let's get into the system. So this is our OData project which we created the other day. And now I want to implement the update and delete method for product set entity set. Let us right click on the update, say map to data source. But before that, we have to go to the change mode of the project and now choose map to data source. Once again, choose the function module, BAPI product update. I think it is change, not update. Yes, that's the function module. And I got all the data on the right hand side from the BAPI. Now I want to map the data with the data source. So select the header data which is going inside the BAPI as the incoming data for the BAPI. Propose the mapping. We have to also pass the product ID which we are changing. So let us create a new entry manually. Choose the product ID and drag and drop this product ID over here. Now let us also do next thing. Before you update, you have to tell the system what are all the properties you would like to update. So you can see there is something called header X, header data X. This flag indicates which properties you wish to update. Just click on create again, and the properties which I would like to probably update, I got to drag and drop them. So I want to allow user to change the product category. So I can just mention that in F4 help as well. That's possible. So let me just create probably 2 or 3 properties, just 2 or 3 of them. I'm going to drag and drop, or I can choose an F4 help for those properties. Let's say category, F4 help. I want to change name. F4 help, I want to change price. F4 help, I want to change currency code. So only these 4 properties I want to make writable. Rest all properties write protected by default by the BAPI. Just pass a hard-coded value as X inside now. So from the left hand side, just pass a hard-coded value as X with single quote. So only these properties will be changed by default. X is not right value, so I can just put, let me just see if I can pass a hard-coded X. If not, then probably we have to change this in the generated code. So you see guys, I'm not allowed to pass the hard-coded value over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this from here, press enter, save this, let it generate the code. Together with that, I want to also generate code for delete. So let's say map to data source, and I want to say business function once again, and just choose the function name as delete. To delete a product, you just have to pump in the product ID. Just drag and drop that. That's it. And I think I got the reason why I was not able to pass the value. You have to pass that value in the constant value, guys. In the constant value, you have to pass that value, not there. So let me just again put my header X properties quickly one by one. So first property I would like is product category. User is allowed to change product name. User is allowed to change product price. User is also allowed to change product currency code. Rest all properties will be completely ignored if they are passed. And now here in the value, I have to pass constant value. Press enter. Voila, just save this up and now generate the code. Boom, there you go. That's it, guys. This was the exercise given to you to allow update and delete method implementation for OData. By the way, this is I'm also implementing first time. In none of my courses till date, I have ever implemented update and delete. Okay, now it got generated, looks good. Let us go ahead and see how can we test it. So of course, we got to go to our gateway client, iwfnd slash gw underscore client, press enter. And now we can come here and I want to update some values. So yesterday we created a product anu 1010. So just come on the top, please, and pass the key property on the top. This is the product I want to update. So remember, in update call, you have to put slash entity set name and the primary key of the product which you wish to update. That's very, very important. Don't fire an update without this primary key. Okay. So that is what I'm passing, and rest all properties. Suppose I want to now change the name of the product. Instead of Anubhav's laptop, I want to change something else. Maybe I will show you changing the price of the product. And now I want to change the price of the product. Instead of 21249 to 9999 and currency code to US dollars. That's what I want to change. That's it. You got to fire this time a put request. Put is actually called an update request. It's going to update the data. Which data it's going to update? Only the data for which you marked X into the buppy. That's what it's going to update. Let us open the database table to make sure that the update is working fine for us. So I just go back and open my product table and pump in here the product ID which we are planning to update. In the product ID, execute. Just open this up in a display details. You see current value of currency is 1249,00. Once my update is fired and successful, SAP would update this. SAP generated code in DPC class will update this value to 9999 US dollars. Let us go ahead and fire the update now. So remember, it's a put request. Make sure that you must pass the primary key and the application data is of type JSON, my payload, and shoot up. There you go. It says not implemented. Something went wrong. I think I forgot to do something. Did I miss something out? I think we maybe have to do a patch. Let me try a patch. Or merge. It says not implemented, guys. Something went wrong. Ideally, it should be put only, not implemented. It's saying not implemented. Method update entity.
Did we regenerate the object?
We regenerated. You
We
can see here
regenerate.
the class got regenerated successfully. Let us go ahead and check out the code. Of course, we have only left out option is to go back and check whether our code is successfully generated for update or not. Let us come back. You can also click on this nice little filter icon to see only the generated methods, and you can see product set get update entity. I go inside this and oops, it doesn't have the code, guys. You see, doesn't have the code. It did not generate the code. Something went wrong. We got to probably regenerate again. Let's give a try one more time. Regenerate. Are we calling the right OData? Let's also check that. Yes, we are in the right OData. It is still generating again. Again, the generation is started. You see it's moving. So let's hold on and wait. Yes, it says generated. Let me come back and check if the code is generated or not. Still the code is not getting generated. Something going wrong behind this in this test system. I have no clue. Something is wrong in my test system, guys. Ideally, it should have generated the code. Let's see if for the delete it did it generate. No, for
Anubhav, we had to look the extension, right?
no, we should not look at because this is SAP generated code, right? It is generated by SAP. This piece of code SAP is generating for us. We are not writing the code manually. Every time you use service generation technique, who generating the code here? SAP is generating the code. So which class it will be created? The SAP generated code, it will be created in DPC class. Okay. Let's do one thing. I just go out of SEGW transaction and just come back one more time. So I just go out, come back. Guys, actually there are two ODatas here. Z October OData for dummies and Z OData for dummies. I think I've done a mistake. I've not done it in the correct object. System never lies. It's all we are wrong. You see, guys, yes, my guess was right. There was another OData, Z OData for dummies. Actually, by mistake, I generated the code in Z OData for dummies. Our current one is this one. Let me remove this Z OData for dummies, which is actually not the right one in which we have done the mistake. I should delete this project. Gone. And now I'll do it here. You see, guys, that was a problem. I'll just do it a little faster now. So just implement the delete and just pass in here the product ID. Save. Update method. That's what happens when multiple windows are open. Propose mapping. Product ID to be passed. I just want to update price and currency. So only those two properties I will mark it as hard-coded value X. And this one I pass the product ID. And save this. And now we should generate, guys. It should do the magic. And let's go back to my DPC class. Let it finish the G generation. You will see the pop-up will come up here. The message will come in this pop-up area for regeneration done. Let's come back and check now. So of course, let's go to update first of all, and voila, you can see all the code SAP generated for me to update the data. Superb. That's what I wanted. Wow, guys, amazing. And now do for delete as well. Check it up. Oh my god, wow, you have the code for delete as well. SAP generated code all goes in there. Now let's go and test it. So same call I'm gonna make, but this time I'm in the right state. I'm having the right thing with me. This is the call. Let's make the call, execute this. And you see there's an error coming, consumer problem, header data X entry is missing. See, guys, it's telling header data X entry is missing. Something is wrong. It has not picked up, I think, the hard coded value, and that is the reason it's giving me an error. Header data X entry is missing. No problem. I can now take this complete update code and adjust it according to my need. So what I can do is take this complete update code, copy that SAP generated code, and of course I have to now go to extension class, go for change and remove the filter, because sometimes you see, Anubhav, there is no method. Now I can see in DPC extension that just make sure this filter is unchecked. Yeah. Now just come back, product set update, just re-implement this and just replicate the SAP generated code in extension. And now I can change based on my need. Header data X is there. And you see, of course, it did not generated the header data X code actually. That's the issue. So let us come here, header data X, control space. I say price value should be X and currency code should be X. And just activate this. Done. Let's come back and give a test one more time. Execute it. Again, there's a problem. Header data X entry is missing. Why it's saying like that? I have no clue. Maybe I have to just go out and come back to gateway service client transaction again. Just let me go out and come back here to gateway client transaction and let's
Anubhav,
give it a try. Mhm.
when I was trying this yesterday, I tried directly. Then after getting this error only, I tried directly through BAPI. Okay, so that BAPI was also throwing the same error, but there we have to pass at three places. We have to pass the key value, and we are passing currently at two places, right? So for header data X also we have to pass the key value, and then it was started working. That BAPI was not throwing error. Then
Okay.
update was working directly through BAPI.
So you mean to say header data X and
Header data, yes,
also
hyphen,
product
yes.
ID
Here
should be
no, no,
passed.
no, not X, not X. Exact product ID we have to pass here.
Yes, yes. I understood your point. So you mean to say this product ID should
Yep.
also be passed to the header data X.
Yes. Yes, BAPI is expecting that actually.
Ah, okay. Good. Didn't knew that. Let's activate it. And
So
now
like we create
give it a try.
purchase order and all right via BAPI change purchase order. So we need to pass it
Boom, there you go. Thank you so
change
much. And you see,
right.
204 update is successful. Let's go back and check it out in DB table. Earlier value is 1249 in euro. And let's come back and refresh. Now check out the new value. There you go. You see the update is successfully done to the data. That's the beauty of update request. Cool. Thank you. Let's move on to delete operation. And now I can go back. Again, remain the
So,
same thing.
Anu, one last thing in this one. Can we do this instead of just like where we have passed X in the that SEGW screen? So instead of writing all the code in that our extension class, can we pass this uh, header data X product ID there itself in that
Yes,
where
I
we were
think it
doing
will
the
work.
map?
The reason was earlier it is I don't need to do this. Actually, what I did here is bad. I have replicated the complete code. You can see the code is already generated with my market.txt
Mapping method.
W, right?
Yes.
So if I do that over there, it will also generate the necessary code, and I don't need to actually do this whole thing. Not required actually. Okay, fine.
Okay. Thank you.
So it will work. Now let's test the delete. So once again, pass product set entity set and then put here the key, what you want to delete, the line, and now make a delete request. Just say execute. Now you must be wondering what is patch and merge, guys. Watch out my Anubhav learning series video. It is explained there what is patch and merge. I just go for delete and say execute, and you can see again deleted 204 successful deleted. And now I can come back and DB table. I just do a refresh on my DB table and you see currently the entry is visible. If I do a refresh, boom, the entry is gone. You have successfully deleted the data. So all the crude methods we have implemented using service generation technique now. You can go watch out SAP generated code and also learn how can you write this similar code manually yourself. If you want to learn deep insert where you want to do update of data in a batch, let's say sales order header and sales order item data in one shot, you want to pass the dependent data and update both of them together, please watch Anubhav learning series. It's covered in there. Now, next point, let's see how can we now consume, or sorry, how can we now create something called function import. So what is function import, guys? So now sometimes in a company, you have an operation which is not related to create, read, update, and delete. Okay, so you have been given a requirement like call a workflow. Okay, you want to call a workflow, you want to trigger an external communication, you want to call an RFC, you want to call post an IDOC, you want to launch or send a ping request to SAP Cloud Platform. Now, do you think any of these kind of requirements are actually any crude operation, guys? Anybody? Do you think are these crude operations? No, they are not crude operations. So how can you achieve this? Sometimes you also have typical business manipulation, like get me most expensive product. So what is our mindset to get the most expensive product? If you remember the three-tier architecture from the first training, the moment you stepped it into SAP area, I'm not sure how was your ramp up done by your company or yourself. This is the three-tier architecture which I teach in my core ABAP training. This is the starting point of SAP. We all know that three-tier architecture. We have presentation. In this case, it is browser. Then you have application, which is nothing but your SAP ABAP layer. And then you have database. These are all the three layers we have: presentation, application, and database. Now, what is happening here in this case is you have said, get me the most expensive product. All the products are available here. Yeah. So first of all, what you do is you just say select star from this product. You've got all the data here. And then you say loop at iTab and find out the most expensive product. Clear? This is what you typically do. Now this is also fine. But now here in this case, the third layer is also involved where you're saying, get me the most expensive product. So browser is now asking, get me the most expensive product. What do you think you will do? Will you transfer all the data which you got in application layer to the presentation layer, loop in the presentation layer, and then find the most expensive product? This is performance havoc. This is performance havoc for you. Imagine you have, let's say, 1 million products, all 1 million loaded here. Point 1, network load is very high at this point. Point 2, network load is again very high at this point. You are sending all 1 million records to browser, to the mobile. Yeah. And then here you are looping using JavaScript and finding the most expensive product. This is the most expensive operation, guys, for you working with all three layers. Very, very bad performance. So what should you ideally do? All the processing should be done in application layer to find out the most expensive product, and only you should send only the final result, the most expensive product, which is one entry. That one dirty product which is most expensive, only that one entry you should send it to browser. Clear, everybody? What is that you should do to get the best out of SAP application layer? Is that clear? You get the data, you loop over the data, you do the processing in application layer, and then you only send the result, final result, out to the presentation layer. Now the question comes is, Anubhav, why can't this also be done between application layer and ABAP and database layer? Why are we fetching all products in application layer, doing a loop here and then sending most expensive? Yes, absolutely, you can do that as well with SAP HANA. It gives you great power as a database, and that's what we do in ABAP on HANA. We do code to data paradigm where we push down even this business logic to find most expensive product to the database layer. You never send now these 1 million records ever to ABAP layer. You process it here itself. Your final processing will be done here itself. Find the most expensive product here itself, and then only send the final result. Only send the final result, which is the price, the final most expensive product to application layer. This is the best you can take out with ABAP on HANA. This is what I'm covering in my ABAP on HANA course. Not relevant here. Right now, we'll go with conventional way. We'll loop, select everything, we'll loop at it, we'll find out, and then we're gonna return that most expensive product to the presentation layer. But only one entry, remember. And how that can be achieved, it's nothing related to crude. Hence, this can be achieved with help of function import. It's like just fancy name. It's just a fancy name, guys. Function import. Nothing but it's a function. Okay. It has nothing to do with any import export of anything. Yeah. It's just a function which you can call. Yeah. Let's create a function import. Go back to SEGW. And I'm going to create right click, create a function import. And I choose get most expensive product. Remember the name is important. Click on OK. It's case sensitive as well. And now I'll say this will return you an entity type of type product entity. The cardinality is 0 to 1 because it's going to give you only one record. The type of method is get actually. Let's click on save and regenerate. A function import definition is created just now. Now, if I call this function import, guys, what do you think? Will it give me the most expensive product? If I call this function import, why it will not give me? मैंने तो बना दिया मेथड अनुभव, मेरा डेटा नहीं आ रहा है. अनुभव मैंने फंक्शन इंपोर्ट बनाया हुआ है, डेटा नहीं आ रहा. There is nothing like magic. Perfect answer, Deepak. Nothing like magic. You have to implement, break your head to write a barcode for this, and that's when it's gonna get the data for you. So let's go to gateway client and give a test for it. क्या पता चल जाए, क्या पता किस्मत काम कर जाए. I'm so lazy writing a BAP code. क्या पता चल जाए, नहीं चलेगा. Let's put in here the get most expensive function import call. It's a get request. Remember, I say execute. It's gonna give me an error. Of course, it's gonna give me an error. You see, it's giving me an error that execute action method is not implemented in DPC class. Let's go to the DPC class. Of course, your extension class this time. And now just search for a method called execute action. That's the method which gets called when any function import is triggered. When any function import is triggered, the the execute action method gets invoked, gets called. So let's search for execute action method. Here it is. You see, this is the one. I select this one and say define, redefine. And now guys, this, as I told you, this will get called. This method will get called anytime, every time someone trigger function import. Okay. Now it could be, there can be multiple function imports in a OData service. Okay. It's an OData service. Okay. So now how do you know which one is called? You see the import parameter. It has an import parameter function name. So you can put a switch case statement. So you can put that switch case statement in above and say IV function name, sorry, action name. If it is most expensive product, right, execute this piece of code. If it is this, then execute this piece of code. Likewise, you can put whichever piece of code you want to execute accordingly, put in the when condition. And now inside of here, you can necessarily write your code. What you want to do, that you can write in most expensive product here. Let us go ahead and do that. So now first I'm going to get all the products available in the system using my BAPI. Everything I get it. LT product. Let's declare this LT product. So I'm going to do my data declarations. product header. And now I'll also declare an ls entity, ls product. This is what will be the type of output entity type. Let's see who understood the concept of OData. One question to all of you. Please tell me, if I want to refer my entity type for product, entity type for product, which structure shall I refer? Which structure shall I refer for entity type, entity type, entity type, entity type for product? Which structure shall I refer here? Which structure shall I? Perfect answer. Monica has got it right. It's from the MPC class. I showed you that the other day. The moment you create an entity type, it creates a type structure and table type as part of MPC class. Refer your MPC class. Perfect answer, Monica. I did not take extra classes for Monica. If she can answer, I expect all of you can answer. Go to MPC class and you see TS product. This is the structure type for a referring entity type structure. Now let's come here and let's now sort the LT prod by price descending order and just read the table LT prod into ls prod index 1, because the most expensive one is on the top of internal table now, and move corresponding ls prod to ls entity. I think it's ls product, which is referring to entity type. And now from this entity type you have to copy data to ref and transfer the data as a result. This is your entity structure. From here you have to transfer it to er data, which is generic data type. Done. Let's activate this. ABAP and OOPS ABAP required here to understand this piece of code. And now let's come back to test this in the gateway client. Watch out. Directly, you don't transfer now complete records of product to presentation layer. Your browser, your Fiori app doesn't need that. It just gets the exact product which you would need. Voila, this is the most expensive product in the entire range of products in your company. You see, it's a dual socket quad core processing server with 1644 megahertz front end side bus with 100 gigabytes of connectivity. The most expensive 25,000 euros is the price of this product. The most expensive product in your entire company, guys. It doesn't give you more than that. It gives you exact that record, which is the most expensive. If you want to do code to data paradigm little bit, you can create a CDS view, you can create an AMDP, you can create a SQL script procedure in ABAP, in HANA. You can use view proxy, you can use procedure proxy. All that is covered in my ABAP on HANA course. If you want to achieve the same thing with code to data paradigm, again with the help of simple normal SQL, you can also use a direct query to update this. Let me show you quickly how can that be achieved. Just comment out this piece of code. Also want to get better performance, don't read everything from database. In this case it gets all the products from database. Don't do that. That's bad performance between. Now the bottleneck will be application between application and database. If you're doing this, the bottleneck is application between application and database layer. Now avoid that. Select single star from snwd into corresponding fields of ls product, where product id is equals to select, sorry, where price is equals to select maximum price from snwd pd. It's gonna give you the maximum price of the product. That's a sub query. This is also good way to code to data paradigm. This logic is pushed into the database. It only gets you the product which is the maximum price, yet not so effective. Better use CDS views. Activate this up, gonna produce the same result, but this time much better. It's not gonna transfer as large amount of data as it was earlier into the system. You can see it has got you the maximum price product once again. Superb. That's about function import. Now let's move on and see how can we call all these things from our Fury application. So for doing all that,
Deepak,
yes, please.
yeah. So why we are using? You can use the same get functionality, right? Why we are using function import for this?
Yes, you can use get functionality, but ideally the purpose of just single get functionality is to give you the product based on product ID. If you remember the get operation, which we used the other day, it was based on my product ID which I'm passing. So it is product set ht-1010, let's say. Now what the get functionality does, it returns one record, but based on what I want, based on the key I will pass. It returns the product based on key I pass. In this example, do you want single product based on key you are passing? Do you want single product based on key you are passing?
Mhm.
Do you want single product based on key you are passing? Do you want single product based on key you are passing? In this case, do you want single product based on key you are passing? Please answer my query. Do you want single product based on key you are passing? No.
No,
What do you
not
want?
same thing.
You want the most expensive product. Do you know the key for that? Do you know what is the key product ID for most expensive product? Do you know the product ID for the most expensive product? You don't know that. You want to do some manipulation. You want to calculate that using some piece of code. Is this a get operation? Yes, it is a get actually. From HTTP point of view, you are getting some data. It's a get operation. But do you think, is this the code which you will write in the get entity method? Of course not. Then how will people get single product information? If you write this code, it will always give you this product HT, whatever is the HT1050150 which is the most expensive. Even you pass the product ID, it will always give you the most expensive one. So the place where you should write such manipulative code should be the function import. It's not, yes, it is get. Technically, it's giving you one record, but the purpose, look at the purpose. Okay, look at the purpose is more important. Okay,
Okay.
I'll tell you one story. So once upon a time there was an elephant, and that elephant was drinking water near the pond, and a crocodile came in. Crocodile bite on his leg and hold one of his leg, and now elephant is trying to survive. Crocodile is pushing the elephant towards the water so that crocodile can take him inside the water, sink it up, and then start eating. The elephant tried so hard to save himself. After some time, elephant realized he cannot save his life. What do you think elephant did? I'm sure you all have seen that story or read that story somewhere. Anyone? Do you remember? If you are spiritually strong, you might have seen or read
Yeah,
this story. What did he do?
Lord Ganesha. He
Yes, he
became
called
Lord
up for Lord Krishna.
Vishnu. Yeah.
Yes, he called for Lord Krishna, and then Lord Krishna, he say,
Uh,
Prabhu, please come and save me. So Lord Krishna came in, and Lord Krishna used his Sudarshan Chakra to cut the head of the crocodile. Now, elephant is so happy. He is praying, he is so happy, he is praising God, you saved my life. After some time, elephant realized, oh my God, this is unfair. He asked Lord Krishna, for whose call you have come here? And Lord Krishna said, I came to save you. On your prey, on your call, I came here. Then elephant asked, if you came to, to save me, if you came by my call, by my prayer, why did you incarnated the crocodile first? आपने क्रोकोडाइल का उद्धार क्यों किया? आप मेरी पुकार पर आए और आपने उद्धार क्रोकोडाइल का कर दिया. Because if you see, if God kills somebody, God has given that person or that entity his own place. जिसकी मृत्यु ईश्वर के हाथों हो गई, उसका तो कल्याण हो गया, salvation, right? Why did you salvated crocodile first if you came? Now, Lord Krishna answer. Remember this answer. Lord Krishna says, आया तो मैं तेरी पुकार पर था, लेकिन मैंने आके देखा जिसने मेरे भक्त के जिसने मेरे भक्त के चरण पकड़ लिए उसका उद्धार तो मुझे पहले करना पड़ेगा. Which means crocodile was holding the legs of elephant, and now Krishna sees the crocodile is holding the legs of his devotee. So he salvated crocodile first. So क्रिया देख रहा है, किस पर्पज से पकड़ा वो नहीं देख रहा है, क्रिया देख रहा है. You are also doing same thing here. You are watching the kriya. The kriya is you are getting a single record. Don't look at that. Look at the purpose. You should not look at like Lord Krishna in this case. Look at the purpose. The purpose is very important. The purpose here is to get the most expensive product. The purpose is not to get single record out of it. That is a purpose. In the get entity, the purpose, however, to get the record, however, the single record, but based on product ID. Here, the purpose is to get the most expensive product. Both are producing similar result. Both are producing one record. But it's important to understand the purpose. Both have different purpose. Hope that is clear to all of you now. Let us proceed and consume our first OData service now with SAP UI5 application. Jump back. It's been long time. I'm missing our web IDE. Let me start up my web IDE one more time. Don't take me away from web IDE so long. It's been like 4-5 classes. We are away from web IDE. I like the web IDE screen. Let's go back to web IDE. I'm going to give this complete code also in a notepad file. I already uploaded the code for the old service class in the notepad file. This one also I'll upload it today. After the class, you can try it out. Now let's come back. So now what I will do is I will go back to web IDE. So let me launch my browser. And now the first thing you can do is, as I showed you already in the past classes, you can create destination, which is already there now for me. For this particular server, I already have a destination created. And to begin with, if you want to just start a new project, guys, my recommendation to you is start with the template. In your company, if they are asking you to build a new Fiori app from scratch, master detail or work list, please start with template, because template is going to save a lot of your time. I know you are an expert now, you know every single folder and the usage of it, but do please use template. That's always a better way. I'm going to show you, however, both the techniques. So first of all, let's see the template options. So say import, say new project from template, and I'm going to choose project from template with maybe master detail. Say next, and I'll just give here the project name. I can say my app product. Click on next. Just select here drop down, select my SAP S4HANA 1709 server, pump in my username password. Oops, it's giving me some error suddenly. Why is my catalog service not available truly? Let me go and check that up. So I can come back and search here my catalog service version 2. There is some problem. Let me just go to service gateway transaction where I can see all the services. Activate and maintain services and search for catalog service. Select the version 2, call browser, pump in the username password. Yes, it's producing the result, which means everything looks okay from this side. So catalog service doesn't have an issue. Why it's showing me an error here? NS4 catalog issue. Let me just quickly cross check my server details, what is maintained in my destination. So I'll go back to my computer, D drive SAP web IDE folder. Yes, check the destination. That's what I'm going to do. Come inside the destination folder and check the destination. ES5 client we don't need. NS4 is the one which I'm using for my S4 HANA connectivity. I go inside, open that in a notepad file, and I can see here HTTP my server details. It's an NS4 server HTTPS. Internet, no authentication. This is the purpose. NS4 is the ID. Client is 800. Let me cross verify. I will put this destination in our training blog, guys. So you all those who are using my server, they can easily utilize this one. Okay. Now let's see here. Client is 800. Looks good. The URL. Let me cross check the URL. URL is this one. Port is 8000. Just come here. Looks like something is different. No, everything looks good here. This is also looking fine. Let me also cross check the port number. So I go back to /n SMICM transaction, system maintenance internet communication manager, and cross check here the HTTP port number. You can see HTTP port number is 8000, which is also correct. This is how you can check. And the server host is this, which is also correct. So 8000 is the port number where it is responding to HTTP. Just one quick check here. The type is also mentioned as HTTP. And just remove this, save this. And looks like everything is looking okay to me. I'm just going to quickly refresh my web IDE. The other day we generated the code with template. I don't know suddenly how come it stopped working. Right click here, say new project from template. Next, some name I want to give just to check if my destination is working fine. Oops, it's still giving me an error. Port number, which port number do we need to give? It all looks okay. Port number, which port number are you asking to give? NS4. Yes,
Anubhav,
yes, please.
please prefix the HTTP backslash at the URL at the beginning.
Here you mean to say backslash?
No. After HTTP.
Uh-huh.
After HTTP. Yeah, there is one. Yes, and after port also.
Okay, you mean to say before this colon, we have to put a escape character, is it? Let's give it a
I
try.
think it's after port.
Let's give it a try. No problem. But it was working the other day. I remember last time when we created project from template, it was all working fine. Something may be wrong from my web ID side. Okay, I'll also show you quick troubleshooting. So watch out, press F12. And now you can see in F12, you can go to network tab. We can observe all the calls which system is making to the server. Okay. I made it HTTPS because the other day it was working with that. I right click, say import, new project from template. And now just come down, choose the template as anything. Next, give some name. Next. And now it has got all the destinations. And now I'll choose my destination S4 HANA 1709 server. Just click on that. Voila, you can see it's making a call to service collection. This is the call it is making to read the data from OData server. Double click on this call. It will run the same call in the browser separately. You can see now this service is giving me an error here. Why it's giving me an error? I think that's JSON format. Let me make it XML. And you see it's working. So you see the catalog service which my web IDE is calling, it's actually working fine, but the response in the JSON format is actually looking for JSON. Due to JSON lint plugin, it is corrupting it. Okay, due to my JSON lint plugin, it's corrupting it. So I think we have to just quickly go and remove that JSON lint plugins. So I go to my browsers, browser tools, extensions. I'm going to remove that JSON lint plugin out. This is creating a problem. I think JSON formatter, JSON viewer. These are all the list of plugins I have. Let me try one more time this call in the JSON format. Okay, you see, there was a plugin which was corrupting my response in the JSON format which is coming out. I removed that plugin, and now the same response which WebID making a network call. You see this WebID making network call to fetch the catalog service information. Same service I'm making a call here. It's getting the proper response now. Okay, so this all looks good. Yeah, this is all looking good. So let us go ahead now and once again give a try from our SAP Web IDE to be able to invoke the catalog service. So I'm sure it should work now. Let's close this up. I'm going to go back to my SAP Web IDE, say new project from template, and now choose master detail Fiori application type. Let's provide a Fiori application name. This is our first application after creating our custom OData service in SAP Gateway Server for SAP S/4HANA 1709 server. Let me just provide here product details. So I can say product. This is a product manage Fiori application I'm creating. I'm now going to choose my SAP S/4HANA 1709 server. And oops, NS4 catalog service unavailable. Again, press F12. Let's see the network call which it is making to our S4 server. And again, you see here, double click on this. It's giving me an error here now in the connectivity. So let me choose the another one, the another destination which we created in Web IDE. Let me choose that. So by default, it's going to give an error for that as well. So now just double click here on this call. Actually, it is loading it up here in my Web ID. However, it is not loading the response. You can see the complete response looks okay here. Let's come down till, let me take this complete response, JSON response, and put it on the jsonlint.com just to validate if it's a valid JSON. So come back here and cross check if it's a valid JSON. So paste it here, validate. You see guys, there is a parsing error coming in. There's a parsing error coming in the response given by catalog service. This is the reason why the Web IDE is unable to recognize the catalog service. So those who are using our S/4HANA server, this is the issue you guys must be facing. It is giving some parsing error in the generated service. So let's do one thing quickly. I will regenerate or re-register our catalog service. So this seems to be our gateway server issue. So I got to regenerate. So let me delete this ICF node. First deactivate, then delete. Couldn't be deleted. Node is not in original system. Okay, fine. I just delete the service now. Okay, it's having an issue now. Deletion can only be generated in.
So, you have to deactivate and then delete from the ICF node again.
No, we can delete ICF node directly from here. You can see there's an option to delete ICF node here.
Delete from there.
ICF node gets created automatically the moment we register the service and activate it. And there is this delete option which will also delete the ICF node. But the problem actually is this is not our original system. So what happened is we had earlier 1609 1610 S/4HANA system. From that 1610 S/4HANA system, we made a transport to this 1709 S/4HANA system. So this service originally exists in that 1610 system. And in this case, I would need some basis support to be able to edit and delete this service today from the basis help of basis guy and re-register it. So until that is done, I will not be able to showcase this to all of you. So I think we have to delete this OData service and re-register it in the current system once again. That's when it will only work. Now you see, it's not allowing me to delete also, I think. You see, it's asking for original system deletion. So in this case, I would need support from my basis team. And once I get that, I will be able to register it, and in tomorrow's class probably I will showcase this once again. Let me once again just give a last try, activate the iSafe node again.
In the destination, actually, the type is HTTP, and in the URL,
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You see, the problem is with the JSON response. The response which the catalog service is responding, you see, catalog service is responding an incorrect JSON response. See, the problem root cause, यही तो सबसे बड़ा problem, हम root cause को भूल जाते हैं, हम दूसरी जगह explore करने लग जाते हैं. This is the root cause. The root cause clearly, very apparently we can see. The moment I am selecting this S4HANA server, it is responding me a JSON. This JSON, the moment I pick up and put in JSON lint, I am getting a parse error. This is the error. See, this is the root cause. No other root cause. It is the catalog service, which is standard SAP OData service, is throwing an error in the server. Actually, that's the root cause, guys. That's the root cause. You can see the web ID is making a call and loading this service in JSON format. और जो JSON आया है, that is corrupted. This JSON which I've got is not proper. That's why I think my plugin was also throwing an error. This response is not proper. So let's give a try one more time. I just make a call again to the service, and let me take this response, put it in jsonlint.com. Now the problem is basis doesn't understand this thing. According to them, ye kala akshar bhais barabar. They don't understand. I have to fight with them to tell them that there's a problem with the service. They don't understand. Even the launchpad is not working in current system currently. I have to talk to them today and solve these issues. You see, it is getting an error, guys. It's getting an error here. So there's an error definitely for sure here, comma. You see this comma is missing actually. These two commas are missing. Again some error.
So Anubhav, even we cannot delete it and load it again.
Anubhav, can we try load metadata? I mean, will that work? Can we try that?
You see guys, all these commas not working. These are all the commas which are missing. See here, all these commas are missing in the JSON. Generated catalog service response. No, we cannot try anything else. We cannot try anything else. One thing we can do, guys. One thing we can do. What we can do is we can go back and we can here read directly the metadata of my service. I'll show you something interesting. I'll go back. I have a problem. Web ID is not allowing me to read this information. Okay. So now I go back, SAP OData OPU, and now I can just come here and search for my OData service. This is our OData service, right? Dummies wala. Kahan gaya? But it has to work, guys, continuously. We cannot survive without this. Otherwise, we'll all have issues. Let's come back and just put this OData service and just get the dollar metadata. Press enter. You see, you got the metadata. I'm going to save this metadata on my computer, on my desktop quickly. Saved it. Now let's come back. Just close this, and choose here service URL, sorry, file system, and browse the dollar metadata. Kidhar gaya dollar metadata? Where is dollar metadata? On my desktop it was there. Oh, I didn't save. Save it again. It's inside the build folder, guys. Okay, let's browse it up. On my desktop, there's a build folder, and then here it is a metadata. And you see, guys, on the right side, my entity sets are popping up. I can see also my function import guest most expensive product is also showing up, and entity sets. Click on next. Just choose your app title, demo.oft, and now I can say my app, and now object collection is product set. I want to get data. Object title is product name. Numeric attribute is price, and then I have to say currency code. items. I don't want to show any items right now. There's no association, so it's not showing any items. Collection, finish. And you see the project is generated. Wow, superb guys. That's what we wanted. And now let's go to NeoApp.json and define our destination for OData call to the real backend. So you have to add a destination. So watch out, in manifest.json, its system has put a path for your OData service. You see, here goes your service URL. You have to put exact service URL here. Let me do that. So this is my service URL. Copy that, come back, put that service URL with slash at the end. And now I have to tell the system that if something starting with slash opu OData, please go to my destination ns4 destination. Go to new app JSON, create here this exact replica of this path, and just mention if something starting with slash sap opu OData, just put that here. The entry path is going to be this, and it should call a destination. The type is a destination, and the destination name is ns4, and this is my OData call. Connection. I am connecting my web IDE via the help of NeoApp.json and telling the system, telling my web ID, please talk to this ns4 destination whenever there is a call made to slash sap opu OData. This is one entry you must have to make to be able to connect to your SAP backend system with a given destination name is ns4. Let's go and test it now. I can come back and execute it. It's gonna call my OData service. You can press F12 and check the network call. Voila, you see it's asking me the username password, mob5, my password, and there's an error coming up. You can check the network call, what failed. You see at least it has made a call to your OData service, or looks good. It has made a call. In the response, it's all look okay guys again, but let's see. I take this up, just check JSON lint. Again, some problem with the JSON response. I think the whole server has a problem with JSON response. Yes, you see, it's missing out comma in every JSON response. In my server currently a comma is missed out. See, every JSON response a comma is missed out. Every JSON coming out of my server today, it's giving an error guys. Every JSON coming out of my server is giving an error. See guys, so this is something a basis issue. I will contact our basis team today regarding our this issue for the server, and I'll get back to you. But you saw that without even using the catalog service, if you have the metadata of the OData service, you can still build your app with SAP Fiori Web IDE. In next class, we will see solution of this. This app will be up and running. I will show you making a create call, the post data. We will then go and manually write a small Fiori app connecting to our OData service. Everything line by line will do rather than this generation way. Generation way, you may get confused. But just remember this part, very important part, how your web IDE connects to your destination. You have to add that entry in the Neo app. So in the Neo app, you say any call made with this prefix to an OData service, go to destination, hit this destination please, and this will be the entry path. So this is how web ID connects to the destination created in local computer. NeoApp.json does that for you guys. Clear everybody? At least if this part is clear, we can then be rest assured in the next class I will go ahead and show you how to do other stuff. Okay, let me put this piece of JSON code into the PPT so you guys can remember this. To connect to destination, there's something weird going on with our server guys. That's the problem. We have to check that up. Okay, cool. That's it for the day. Any questions before we close today's class?
Yeah, no?
Yes, please.
Yeah, whenever for a scratch app, you were telling like we can create it from template and do it, right? So basically, we may not have the same requirement as a master detail or a workplace application. So what would be the
Can you
criteria?
please repeat? I
We'll
cannot hear
create.
your question properly.
No. When you're saying like create from if you're creating an app, okay, so you better create it from the templates. That's what you're saying, right?
Huh?
So if you don't have the same requirement like a master detail or a work list application,
Okay.
so what we can do in those
Okay,
cases?
if you want to design a freestyle application, in that case, what do we do? You mean to say we don't have a
Uh,
requirement for master dealer work list? What you can do, create a work
exactly
list
not.
application, create a work list application, and then change the view as per your need.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we can do. Okay, guys.
So in the
Mhm.
after creation also we can change those things. Right?
Yes,
Whatever it
yes,
is
of
there, we can
course.
change those.
See, guys, ultimately it's a base which is created. So your app is actually a base which is created. Now, yahan pe you can go, you see all the things which we learned, app view, detail view, you can just go and change it. So go to master view. Of course, there will be a list control. Just change that list control with something else, whatever you wish to. Change the list. So it's all what you know now. So it has generated a base. That's why it's called template. It generated a basis of your app, base of your app. On top of it, now you can change the complete app, whole app you can change actually. Okay, that's what we can do.
So Anubhav, do you have any video for extension of the app? Extension project?
Sorry.
No, extension project. For a standard app, we have an extension.
Extension project is covered in my advanced Fury training. It's in Launchpad training. How to extend a standard Fury app with new fields. It's covered in my advanced Fury training.
Okay.
Anubhav,
Hmm.
hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so this custom app that we are developing, so integration of this custom app with as a tile we are going to expose in our Fury Launchpad and also that is also part of advanced one or in this one app we are going to see.
Which thing? Custom app.
Yeah, custom app as a tile we want to show on our like
Okay,
Launchpad.
that one is covered in advanced course. How to create tile, how to deploy your app to the gateway. Gateway system deployment I'll show you here. But how to create tile, you can see it all there in the advanced Fury course. However, those who are watching Anubhav Learning series, end-to-end scenario is covered there. Creating a custom app from scratch using database table service and all, then deploying this app to the gateway and creating a tile. That basic scenario is covered in learning series for free. You don't need to join advanced course for that. Those who want to learn advanced things, security concepts and all, then you have to do it. Mhm. Cool, guys. That's it for the day. See you tomorrow. I have to
Sorry,
check
sorry.
out this issue with the basis guy. We have to solve this issue. Otherwise, we are unable to proceed. Please give me some time. Catch you up in the next class. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
One more, Anubhav, one more
Yes,
question.
please, Kamish.
So while defining the entity types and all, where we give the checkboxes, right, creatable, updatable, and all, that is only for the metadata, right? To
Only
just give
for
it to
metadata.
the user,
Yes. There is
right? Yeah,
nothing like magic, of course, because in the
yeah,
behind the scene you have to write the code. This is just for the people who watch your OData. They should understand what is that your OData should do, right?
yeah, correct.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, Anubhav, this JSON issue is due to the same one you were having yesterday with your browser, due to JSON plugin or
I
something.
think that is no. The JSON plugin is okay. It's the JSON which is coming from our server is having an issue. So can you try today if you have my server access? Can you try fixing it up, or I'll have to check with basis guy indeed. Actually, something wrong with our JSON parser class in SAP system. It's not producing proper JSON with commas. I'll check it up with the basis. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.